Hello, today I'm going to go over this worksheet, Neutrons percent math practice. So it explains a little bit here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out when we talk about the nucleus, protons and neutrons, which is actually the mass of an atom, we're gonna figure out what percent of the mass are made up of neutrons, okay? And so there's a very specific way we're going to do it. I have tables down here, and we're just going to go one element at a time. So the first element is He, that's helium. Helium is right there. And the first thing that we want to fill in is the atomic mass. So on our table here, on our periodic table, the mass is this bottom number in the helium box, but we're going to round it. So instead of 4.003, we're just going to use 4 for these. So all these numbers on this worksheet are rounded. So that's the atomic mass. Now the number of protons for helium is actually this number in the upper left corner, 2. That's the atomic number, but that's the number of protons. So I have 2 protons. So far, so good. To find the number of neutrons, I take the mass minus the protons. So 4 minus 2 equals 2. Now I know how many neutrons there are. So that I take that number, 2, divided by the mass, which was 4. And if I calculate that out, 2 divided by 4, 0.5. I'm going to put 0.50. The last thing I got to do to figure out percentage is multiply this number by 100, because that's our fraction. So I'm going to go 0.50 times 100, equals, times 100 equals 50. So that's 50%. 50% of the mass of helium is made up of neutrons. All right, let's do the next one. The next one, Li, is lithium. I find lithium here. The mass is 6.941. I'm gonna round that to 7. The number of protons, or the atomic number, is up in the left here, and that's 3 for lithium. Now, I take the atomic mass minus protons, so 7 minus 3 equals 4. That means there's 4 neutrons. Neutrons divided by the mass, 4, so that's 4 divided by 7. That's going to be 0.57. And then the last part, since the fraction is 0.57, I want to multiply that by 100. So 57%. And I want you to round all these numbers, like I said, like I'm doing here. And I want you to show all this work in each of these boxes, so you're not skipping steps. Let's do one more on the next page. So let's do, all the way down here towards the bottom, Pb. Pb is lead, and lead is right here on the periodic table. So the first thing I need for lead is the mass, and I have 207.2, but I'm going to round it to 207. So 207. Now the number of protons for lead is 82. That's our atomic number. I take the mass minus the protons, and that's going to give me, let's see, 207 minus 82 equals 125. That's how many neutrons I have. Now I take my neutrons, 125, divided by the mass, 207. 125 divided by 207 equals 0.60. I take that fraction, multiply it by 100, which equals 60%. 60% of lead is made up of neutrons. All right, I hope this helps. Do the rest of these. Thank you very much.